Okay, so I'm going to make a video today about our end of the school year portfolios, and I want to show you how I put together these portfolios or these binders for the kids at the end of each school year. This year we actually did it slightly different than I normally do, but I'm also going to show you from a couple years back what it looked like. So you can kind of see how it's evolved a little bit. Okay, so each of the kids has a binder. This year, this worked really well for me. So I just bought a binder at the beginning of the year, and that way throughout the year, I could take out tests, graded tests, or examples of really good work that they've done to put inside of the binder. Okay, so we just made a little cover sheet, my best work, and then I divided it by subjects, math, any papers that the 3-hole punch kind of messed up, I just put them down inside of here. And this is all there. I mainly just kept tests. I kept a couple other things, the enrichments, if he did a really good job. But it was mainly just tests that I decided to keep for math. And his certificate, and of course his chart for his division facts. This was with math, you see. Okay, and then we had language arts. So I kept just little pieces out of there. Like, for example, this was a poem that he wrote, and then some of his copy work, some spelling, and some of the I Can assessments out of learning language arts through literature. There was another, I think that was a poem. Some spelling tests, some assessments. Learning language arts through literature did have a few assessments, which were like tests throughout. And then I did the same for science. Now with science, we did a little bit of nature study, and this was his praying mantis, and I kept that. And then and these are some of our nature journaling pages. Actually, you can get these on my blog. They're for anatomy, or nature anatomy, nature journaling through nature, with nature anatomy. And you can search that on my blog. And that's homeschoollife.com. If you're interested in those. And this came out of our sassafras science. So sassafras science had a separate logbook, and I just wanted to keep the whole thing instead of tear out pieces of info out of here. I just wanted to keep the whole thing. We loved this logbook, so we decided to keep that whole thing, and I just slide it in here. And then we have a section for history. Oh, I skipped over it. Okay, history. And at the beginning of the year, we did start with Story of the World. So I just have a little bit of stuff in here because we switched, and then we ended up not having a bunch of worksheets. So not much got put with history. And then we have art. And I kept his sketch pad and some of the different art projects that we did in the back here. Some of these were through drawing, just random drawing books. Some of them were drawn right through history, and some of them were just projects that we did, like cave drawings, and these were drawn right through history. Then we did watercolor painting, and I kept, that was his sea turtle. that he chose to draw out of one of our science books. And just some other things. And that's what I put inside of it. This is one of his poems that he cut out and glued on paper and just kind of illustrated the poem. So I put their names on a sticker on the outside with the year, and then I usually, if I have separate grading papers, which I'll show you in this one, I will put them in with this. But this year, everything was inside of my homeschool planner. So I'm going to take the homeschool planner along with our other binders with my other kids and rubber band them all together. But first, I make sure that I rubber band individual binders. That way their science books will stay in there, and I usually double rubber band them, as you can see. But I only have one hand right now, so I'm just going to put one on. And then I just take a big rubber band and put it around all of the binders and also my planner. That way it can all stay together by year. And I do that with every year. That way it's all just kind of in one lump thing. And I also on the spine wrote their initials and the year. So that's how we did it this year. I loved doing it this way this year. I'm pretty positive this time I'm going to do it again next year because it was just so easy when the end of our school year rolled around. Everything was already pretty much in, that I wanted to keep, was pretty much in here already. And I didn't have to sort through a ton of papers or whatever. So this was by far the best method I've used so far. But here's another example of how I've kept the papers in the past. And this method works really well as well. This one doesn't involve a binder, but this was when we had more workbooks along with our stuff, and now we try to do less workbooks, more Charlotte Mason style homeschooling, so this is going to be slightly different. And this will work for those of you who do have like the workbooks that maybe you don't want to separate out and put in a binder. Okay, so I just had a I don't remember where I found this. I Googled it somewhere. It's been a while back. This was 2015, 2016. So this time on this one, I just put a note card on the front. And these are just your bungee cord folders. They have this little black bungee. And I got these super cheap whenever all the school supplies were on sale at Walmart. So inside the folders, I put some of their loose papers. They had these monthly progress reports, and I got those from Tina's Dynamic Homeschool Plus. And these were some of their loose. This was when they did My Father's World. And I put their verses all in here. And some of the other activities from My Father's World. And then some of his loose papers. I don't know why these are out loose. Maybe I just tore them out. Some spelling. This was when we were doing first language lessons for the Well-Trained Mind. We did, these are the worksheets we did with that. And then some more artwork I kept at the back. So this one isn't quite as organized as the other one, although I do have it organized by subject, but it's not clearly like stated. which subjects, but I do kind of have a little bit of order. I think I tried to, yes, I tried to put a paper clip on each section. Let me see if I got the grades in. Okay, no, not on that one. Okay. And then I kept their language workbook, and which you don't have to keep full workbooks, but I just kind of like to sometimes when there's smaller workbooks like this. This was his math that he did, and then I kept the handwriting to show how his handwriting had progressed throughout the year, and I kept spelling book, and this was our history binder, and I decided to keep this because this is just a really awesome keepsake. So that's why I kept just this entire history book. But this one, this is kind of why I like the binder method a little bit better, because it's all in that one binder, and this one has the loose workbooks. And so it's a little harder to keep together than my binders like I did this year. So, all right, well, that's how I get everything organized at the end of the school year. Actually, I didn't see the grades inside of this one, but they're probably in a separate thing. I just didn't notice it when I grabbed it out of our little tote. I do keep all of their end of the school year stuff in a tote, just a 5-gallon Sterilite tote. You can buy those at Walmart, anywhere. And I just slide them down in there, and then when one fills up, just move on to the next one. So, as I was saying, I do prefer the binders over the just the folder, and the workbooks just stays together better, and I think we're probably going to continue doing it like this for the next few years. It just works out best. So anyway, now I can get back on track. This is how we put everything together, and like I said, if I didn't have this planner, I might just put a folder on the top with their grading sheets and things like that in it at the very front of all of this. Or you could also take their individual grading sheets if you have them individual. Some people have all of their grades together. Like in this book, obviously they're all together and they're not separate, so it would be like grades for each kid, like 2 kids on one page and then one on another. But if I had individual ones, I could slip them inside of this binder too. You could 3-hole punch them and just put them at the front, so it could all be together in one, or however you wanted to do it. But I hope that helps kind of give you an idea of how to throw together a quick portfolio for your kids at the end of the year. Our state really doesn't need portfolios. I just like to keep records just in case for some reason we were to have them. I just like to have that physical proof, of what we're doing, and I also like to keep record of how they're progressing, and for me, this is a really good way to do that. So, alright, thanks guys for watching my video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and you can also head over to momwifehomeschoollife.com and check out my blog. Alright, thanks.